Welcome back to Red Dart. Today we have a surprise Pokemon cake that I made for my son's 9th birthday. So come on, let's take a look and see how it's made. Make your favourite cake mixture ×2 and cook it in 4 pans. Get your Pokemon figures, then get a big cookie cutter and make holes into 3 of your 4 cakes. Once you have the holes, get some jam and start spreading and sticking your 3 layers together. You can use cream, of course, as well, but my son likes jam. Then fill it with your Pokemon. Now add jam to your final layer and put on your lid. You will now need to put jam all around the outside of your cake and down the sides. Like I said, normally you would also add cream, but because my son doesn't like cream, we only put jam on. But you need this for the fondant to stick. Next, I took some white fondant icing and some red food colouring, good quality, so you get a nice red and not a pink, and turned half of my white food icing or fondant icing into red fondant icing. Right, you're ready to roll. Now I used some icing sugar on the surface for it not to stick, and I rolled my icing out. Now in my icing it's a bit too thin, so don't do what I did. Make it a little bit thicker, maybe ½ centimetre, and that should do the trick. Next I cut a straight edge along one side and then start to lay my fondant icing. Now the next thing you want to do is you want to take your straight edge and line it up with the centre of your cake. It's a little bit tricky. I found putting my icing onto the rolling pin helped me lift it, especially since I cut mine or rolled mine a bit too thin. So once you've got it on your rolling pin, gently place it on half of your cake. This is the first time I've actually done fondant icing, and I want to recommend this video, how to cover a cake with fondant, which I'll link in the iCards and down below. It is a great video and it really helps you understand how easy it is to lay fondant icing, and it is easy, I promise. You basically flatten the top and then you work your way around the sides of the cake, flattening as you go and tugging it out ever so gently and then trimming off the edge. But please do watch the other video because it is so helpful. In the meantime, I move on to cut some white icing, like you can see very quickly that is. Rolled it out, made sure of course that my hands were nice and clean so I didn't turn it into pink icing by accident, and then repeated the process and created the second white half of the Pokeball cake. Note this time I probably made the icing twice as thick as the first time round, and it was so much easier to lay and fold down the sides. Remember, watch the video that I recommended about how to lay fondant icing because it is so helpful, and I really learned a lot from that. Once you've trimmed the excesses of the white, it's time to soften and roll out your black icing. This time you want a long, thin strip. To be honest, I found rolling a long, thin strip quite difficult. It kind of kept wanting to go wide, but that's okay. I wet the cake with some water so that it sticks, and cut maybe a 2 centimetre, is it 1.5 inches wide strip of black fondant icing and placed it over the top, and then carefully cut off the excess to get my black band. Next you roll out a little bit more of the black icing and use a glass or a large cookie cutter to cut out a big black circle. I used a glass. Use a bit of water on your fingers to smoothen down the edges, and then again with a bit more water on the back of your black circle, stick down. Finally, I repeated the same with a bit of white. Again, make sure your fingers aren't black or red to get the white dirty. Shape it into a little smooth white disc, and again with a bit of water on the back, stick on. And that's literally it. Well done. So here we go. The cake is finished. Now, this is, like I say, a beginner's, let's focus the camera, beginner's effort at using fondant icing, and you'll see in a minute my mistakes. Look at that. That's dreadful, isn't it? But that's because I made my fondant too thin by the looks of it. And because of that I then panicked and rushed over this side. But I learned my lesson, and when I did the white one, the second time round, less thin, and actually for beginner, I don't think that's too bad. Now remember, inside the cake, what's inside the cake? It's a surprise pinata cake, and inside we have caught lots of little Pokemon. Not these ones obviously because they are outside the cake. They didn't all fit in. But I am very excited and I think the surprise will be amazing. Now remember, we've got tons more Pokemon DIYs here on Red Ted Art. Check out the playlist, have a good browse. Then like, subscribe, comment, and of course we'd love to see you here again soon. In the meantime, enjoy the cake. Happy birthday to my son and see you here again soon. Bye!